Warning. Censorship. Warning.
Over the weekend, thousands marched across our country to protest mandatory and/or coerced COVID-19 vaccinations.
This is between good and evil, and we are the good, and good always prevails!
The rallies were peaceful in every capital city besides for one. You guessed it, Melbourne. Victoria Police cracked down on the peaceful rally. They deployed pepper spray and engaged in their favourite heavy-handed tactic. It's known as kettling, where they surrounded, trapped and violently arrested the protesters. And cops that weren't violent enough got a clip round the ear. Now, I'm not here today to point out the two-tier policing, because we now know even when the restrictions were the same, Black Lives Matter and Australia Day protesters were allowed to march in Melbourne, even in much greater numbers, without fear of pepper spray or kettling. I guess the Andrews government doesn't feel the need to quash far left-wing gatherings because the virus obviously knows not to spread in Labor-friendly crowds. And don't get me started on the fact that Andrews pushed for Moomba to go ahead, which will bring thousands to the city in just a couple of weeks. So keeping that in mind, how did the weekend protest with 100th of the people pose a health risk significant enough to justify such violent police response? But let's put that all to the side. Today I want to talk about the Herald Sun journalist and photographer who received very familiar treatment. They were caught up in the police trap, cuffed and frog-marched away. Where have I seen that happen before?
I'm media. I am media.
So I'm being arrested and pushed in the van. Welcome to the party, guys. It's not a good feeling, is it? No journalist in a real democracy should ever be the target of law enforcement for doing their job. But the response to the Herald Sun arrests was a little bit different. Following their arrests, unlike my 5, the outpour of condemnation came in hard and fast. And within only 24 hours, Victoria Police apologised for unintentionally arresting journalists. Okay? If you want to accept that as an apology, that's up to you. I have a feeling at least the photographer isn't that satisfied. Why should he be? How was it anything but intentional? Both had their credentials around their necks, and the photographer even had cameras hanging off him, for goodness sake. I'm just grateful I don't work for a publication that accepts that sorry excuse on my behalf. Anyways, let's get back to unpacking how we got here. All of you outraged personalities who were suddenly shocked at journalists being arrested. Where have you been for the past 12 months at least? I've got the state in the Supreme Court for 5 separate arrests that all went viral. So you've seen at least 1 or 2 of them, but have never muttered a word. I get it. I'm not part of your little club. But guess what? When you're questioned about it and your only answer is Avi is not a real journalist, realize that you're opening the door for others to use that exact same excuse on you. You see, the difference between you and I, you're full of it. You lie, you cheat, you gang up. You indeed are the enemy of the people. But I will always fight for your right to be all of that. You, on the other hand, you try to silence and censor me. You ignore all of this.
I'm media. I am media.
So I'm being arrested and pushed in the van. But cried over this. The truth is, I don't need you or your help because we've learned to fight back ourselves. And for those of you interested, head to standwithavi.com to see what we've done so far and stand by for a major announcement on that page coming this week. If you think this story is important for others to see, make sure to like, comment, and share, because trust me, the mainstream media will refuse to tell it. Then head straight over and subscribe to Rebel News on YouTube and hit that little notification button so you don't miss a thing.